Hello everybody, I am Nicad. We are playing Feed the Beast, episode 19? I'm gonna go with 19. Today, we're working on the CGT. We're doing a little more research for that. We're gonna play around with Redpower Frames. I had to make a diamond block for one of the things we need here. 9 diamonds, that's not right. I need to find the diamond saw. And I don't know where I put it. Is it in one of these? Iron saws, nothing else. Not in there. Where... What, do I have to make another saw? That's not right either. Oh. Yeah, there we go. Okay. First thing we're doing, when we get this mountain hollowed out, is we're putting a proper storage room in there, and a proper place for all the tools, I think. Okay, so to make a what's it called, a frame motor, we need blue electric motor, copper coils. For those, we need all this crap. Fine copper wire. That's a copper ingot and a diamond draw plate. And these don't get used up. These things don't make like 80 of them. You only need one. They're like the saws. Iron panel strip and diamond panel. So, slab, panel. And then I have iron panels, so let's make panel strips. We need 4 of those. Okay. So that's like that. And the panel, that gives us a draw plate. And now I made some copper, and I think we need to use 16 should be enough. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Now what was that again? Iron bars and an iron ingot. So we need 4 iron ingots. Where are they? Here. And I only have 4 bars. Okay, let's make 4 iron. That's 1 too many. There we go. Really, we're probably going to need a whole bunch more. I'm not going to be able to build all this stuff on screen, I think. But we can make the... Oh, I already had 4 iron. Oh well, we'll need it. Okay, and that was... I remember. One of these. 4 of those. And yeah, there we go. So we need 1, 2, 3, 4. Because we're going to need 2 frame motors to play around here. So now we need 6 iron, a blue alloy ingot, and then 5 more iron and another blue alloy ingot. So the blue alloy ingots were silver. So we need 2 of those. Let's grab some nickelite. And, you know, let's just smelt up a bunch of iron. Why not? I'm sure we'll find a use for it. Grab this stuff back. And one of these should be done by now, yep. Oh, okay, there we go. So, the Redpower frame, we need the blue electric motor, we need the blue alloy. Oh, we already have a bunch, perfect. Okay, let's make this thing. Oh, okay. Oh, we already have a bunch here, too. Duh. I need to pay attention. So that's 6. And then 2 of these. There we go. Okay, we'll put these in here. Let's get some more iron. Get around the bed. Okay, we got the 2 blue electric motors. What are these? Brass. Okay, I have everything we need to make brass. That's just copper and zinc. That gives us brass. So let's cook up some of that, and we're going to need a lot of it because we need it to make the frames themselves as well. That's all we need for the motors, I think. Where am I? Okay. So brass, blue alloy, iron, and one of those. Let's grab some more iron so we can make them both at the same time. Okay, we have frame motors. Now, we need to make some frames. Where are those? There we go. Nope, we want the support frame. That's brass surrounded by sticks. Let's make up a bunch of sticks. Okay, and grab some brass. That gives us support. Really? It's one whole brass per frame? Wow. I just assumed that recipe was kind of buggy. That's kind of expensive. We don't need that in there, or that. Or the sulfur. So we're going to go through... Well, I guess we don't really need a lot. We're just going to try to test it. Because the main thing I want to do in this episode is make redstone frames move in one direction. 19... That seems like so much... Well, I guess it's just sticks. There we go. $32. That's probably enough. Okay. And we are going to need one of these bat boxes. Let's just take that one. They hold their charge? Oh, that is cool. They kind of do. They lose a little bit, it looks like. Very neat. Okay. So, now we need... Well, I guess that's it. Where's the blue alloy wire? I think I put that down here. Yeah. Okay, so we have the motors, we have the frames, we have the wire. I'm going to clear out my inventory a bit and head over to somewhere where we can work on this in kind of an open area. So I'll be right back. Okay, we're over at the quarry, because that seemed like the easiest place to do this. So we're just going to set up kind of a 5x5 frame. Just because we can, gives us some space to work with here. There we go. Let's take that one off. Anything that's attached to the side of the frame will move with it. So if we did have this here, it would try to move that bottom block as well, and because nothing else over here is attached to it, it wouldn't be able to do that. So we'll take that off. And we're going to take this one out as well. And then we're going to put one motor there, and we're going to put one motor there. And then we're going to switch this out and bring down the sonic screwdriver. These things are easy to make. They're just green sapphire, brass, and a battery. And so what we want is this one to be facing down. So if we shift right-click with the sonic screwdriver, it kind of moves it around. There we go. Now it's facing down, but we want it. We want the arrow pointing in that direction. So let's get under it here. Down here. We'll just take out that frame, so it's pointing that way. If we just regular right-click on it, it'll kind of rotate it around. So now it's going in the right direction. Let's put that frame back. And this one's already oriented correctly. We just have to turn it around so it's going that way as well. And so the idea is this motor will push the frame forward 1 block, and that would make this one move up here so it's kind of next to it, because this one won't move. If this one's active and moving a frame, it's not going to move, but that one will. So once these two come up alongside each other, this one will activate and move that frame motor back into position. So we're going to put down some of these things. These are wooden panels. You make them with, they're the micro block things. They actually have a purpose when it comes to frames, apparently. Panels will allow whatever you put onto it to stick to the frame. Like, if I try to put this lever just on the frame, it won't go. But if I put it over here, it'll stick to it. So let's put a battery box. Battery boxes you can place and they will stick to the frame. And then we're going to run some blue alloy wire. Just like that. So that'll charge up both of the engines. Then over here we're going to put red alloy wire. And we're going to put this thing as a timer. And they're pretty easy to make too. They're just various kinds of redstone torches and redstone dust, things like that. And yeah, and then the stone wafers you just make by cooking stone in a furnace. So we want the timer. We're going to put that there. And what the timer does... Whoa, 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 whoa. As you can see it there, yeah, it's already working. The timer puts out a redstone signal every time period that you give it. And it'll put out the signal on 3 sides. We only need it coming out 1 right now. So that's working cool. Yeah, so this whole thing's moving. Kind of slow, though. We have the timer set to 2 seconds by default. But it is working according to how it should. The reason we have this lever here is that if you flip it, this is an input line and it turns off the timer. So this is how we're going to control frames. Is that by flipping the lever, we turn off the timer stops giving a signal to the motors stop moving. So if we set this down, I think we can go as low as 0.9 seconds before it'll start. Because if you go any lower than that, it'll start moving too quickly to actually send a signal in time to make that one move. Like if I go over here, let's flip that off. Let's set this down to 0.8. And you can see it moves, but then it misses that. Yeah, right there, it misses that that signal. There we go. Let's move it ahead 1. There we go. So this is cool. This seems to be working as intended, which is the best kind of working. A couple of things we could do with this. I guess if you wanted to do 6 directional motion so that you could move, in every direction, you would need 12 motors, because these can't kind of be modified on the fly to move back that way. You would need a second pair of motors to do that. And you don't have to set them up horizontally, you could set them up vertically as well, and you would still be able to move it. You just have to kind of rearrange things so that this one is always pushing on the frame, and this one's always pushing on the frame motor to put it back into place. Another thing you could do, let's say you wanted to build an elevator. Rather than having well, you certainly could do it with the motors on here, but if you wanted maybe a faster kind of motion, because when you're doing it this way, you're waiting 1 full cycle for this frame motor to move back into place. If you had the frame motors outside, and let's say you had a tail coming off the end, like this, if I can do it while flying, let's get this one back. There we go. Let's say you had a tail coming off the end like that, and then let's say, I need some blocks. Let's say you had an engine right there. Oop. There we go. And then let's say you had a second engine right there. So as soon as this engine stops pushing on the frame, its last motion is to move it up so that this one takes over. And you can just kind of piggyback all the way up to whatever height you want, doing that. And then you just have the same thing going back down. Like, let's say you could have a down motor right above it. And then the last thing this one would do, I guess you would have it down here. Like there, that would be a down motor. The last thing it would do is pass the frames to so that the up motor is just touching it. So that's one way you could make an elevator. And I think we're actually going to do that over in the village as a way of getting up and down the cliff face that we have over there. Sort of like, I don't know if you ever watched Game of Thrones or if you've read the book, but that's kind of like what they have to go up and down the wall. It would just like this metal cage on pulleys that went up and down. So that's one thing we could do there. Another thing you could do with frames is like a larger sliding door of some kind. Since these things depend only on how much power they use based on how many frames they have to move, and you can move basically as many as you want as long as you have the power for it. It would be a lot easier to do that than use pistons. A lot more compact as well. But as far as this goes, I think we're done here. This all seems to be working well. I'm pleased with all this. Let's head over to the quarry. And we'll take a look, like the base quarry, and we'll take a look at how that's been doing. So I'll be right back. Okay, we're over at the quarry. So this is all done. We've actually managed to clear out all of this this area. There's only a couple blocks between us and the surface here. And now I have to kind of go off and do more over in this direction and just kind of clear that out. But I've been thinking that this is kind of getting annoying to do, where I'm going to have to keep moving these things around. So to overcome that, I think what we're going to do is look at tesseracts. These are a new thing that was added in thermal expansion. And this is how you make one. It's just tin, some hardened glass, and a diamond, and then you fill it with molten ender, which is melted down ender pearls. I'm not sure how many you need to get one bucket. It looks like you need one bucket to make a tesseract. I'm assuming 10 would be my guess. And then with that you can make an energy tesseract, a liquid tesseract, or an item tesseract. And they basically act like teleporters. So if I put an item tesseract there, the quarry would output everything into it, and everything in it would magically appear at, let's say, a second tesseract that we put over here. Which means I could put the storage area somewhere wherever I wanted for now, as well as the boilers with an energy tesseract, and then put another one of those next to the quarry and it would power that. So that would be super convenient, and I think that's what we're going to look at setting up, because then I could just move the quarry around as needed without having to worry about the rest of this. We got quite a few things that are there. That's aluminum, I think. We got some uranium. We got a bunch of this Zycraft stuff that's not useful yet. I hope they put something in, because I haven't really looked at any of the plans for that mod. But anytime I hear somebody talk about it, they are really psyched about it. So I'm hoping that that's going to be in maybe Minecraft. Well, I don't know how long the mod developer needs to make it, but it would be nice to start seeing something to do with these things. And then we have these quartz things that are, I think there's something to do with Thaumcraft or Zycraft, maybe. They are everywhere, and they are so annoying. Not only do they seem to have, you know, a whole bunch of different item IDs for no reason, which means they don't stack properly. They apparently, because they're like a 3D model that just kind of exists out there, like here's one. There's another one. There's another one. Apparently these are what's causing people a lot of frame rate problems. Because they're each... Uh-oh. Okay, there we go. Thankfully, I thought ahead and lit that area up. There's a spider. There he goes. So apparently, they're causing a lot of frame rate issues because of the game's having to render them. I don't know if Optifine would fix that, but something to look into, I guess. We did end up breaking through the wall over there, unfortunately. So I was a little bit off on my calculations of where we were. If you look out here, yeah, there's an Enderman. This is over where we were going to look at putting the solar panels eventually. So yeah, this thing is really kind of a pain that it exists here, because it means I can't really shear the wall off like I would want to. I might still do anyway, and then I guess you could put like a window in there, and that would look cool from the inside. Anyway, so that's my plan. I need to start moving around the quarry, and I think we're going to do that with Tesseracts. And either do that next episode, or next episode might be maybe a little more work on the hull. I don't know. There's a bunch of things that I need to get done, and only so much time to do them. So that's going to be it for this episode. Next time, one of those things, I guess. I'll probably put one out on the weekend, and if I do that, it'll probably be that. So I'd like to do some more work in there. Or we'll see. Whatever. Okay, I'll see you next time. I am Nicad. We are playing Feed the Beast. Take care. Hello, everybody. I just wanted to record a quick PSA for you. The Feed the Beast wiki at the time that I'm recording this has apparently moved. They're no longer on the Wikia domain. They decided to go to an independent server, so now they are at ftbwiki.org. They apparently wanted to move to do this in order to get a little more control over their site, I guess, and it also means that we're not going to be having to deal with Wikia's advertising all over the pages. So go to that site if you're looking for Feed the Beast information. The old site, I'm not sure if they're going to continue to update it or not, or if other people will continue to do so. My assumption is anybody who had been putting a lot of the information on that is now going to the other site, and so that would be the place to look for more up-to-date information. So keep that in mind when you're looking for information on Feed the Beast. And take care!